guys, welcome
to our review on The Last of Us.
Yeah. Full spoiler warning. We're just gonna jump right into it.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good episode. It was better than the week before.
Oh, yeah.
You should watch it if you haven't. Yeah.
That's it. No.
No, that's it. See you later.
We're trying to make these shorter, so no.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it flowing.
Yeah.
Feeling the flow.
Feeling the flow. So
I guess key points
yeah.
would be the underground, right?
Yeah.
Well, the tower first, yeah. Because that's where it happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The news station.
Yeah, the news station. Yeah.
See, that was really cool because that was pretty good for the accurate for the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it was beyond accurate. It was like a 1-for-1 shot.
yeah.
It was really crazy.
It was really good. That scene's really important for setting up the fact that it's like the Seraphites aren't just this group of people who are just like trying to live and are getting mercilessly hunted down by the wolves.
Yeah.
Which is what Ellie and Dina would think, and which is what you lead the viewer to believe when you show that scene of the group outside that was brutally murdered.
Oh, excuse me.
But you see that and you kind of realize, oh, these aren't great people, you know?
Oh, yeah. Which, I guess before that, it opens with Jeffrey, right? Lewis or
Jeffrey?
Isaac.
Yeah.
He's torturing the Seraphite. And that was pretty nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was just naked and hanging out.
Yeah, I know, dude. He had his little wiener sitting there.
Yeah, he did have a wiener out.
That's
But
crazy.
I thought he was actually going to cook something cool. And I was like, oh my God, we're getting Apocalypse Core, like some good music or some good food here.
Right. So I thought it was really funny because he was talking about these pots and pans. And I was like, he's giving a torture speech. Like, there is no way he's talking to anyone. There's no way he's having like a legit conversation with someone about cooking food.
Yeah.
And like, because he's talking like a maniac right now. And so when he turned around, I was also wearing my headphones, so I turned him up because I wanted to see if I could hear something, and I could hear him in the background going,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna get tortured. Someone's gonna get tortured. But before that, even it opens with straight up Josh Peck.
It does open with Josh Peck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drake and Josh is in The Last of Us.
Yeah, dude, it's canon.
Yeah.
This is in the same universe. It's later on in the future.
Yeah, he died in 5 minutes.
Yeah, he died very fast.
Yeah.
It was insanely quick. I can't believe I didn't realize who Isaac was, even considering it's the same actor.
You couldn't figure out that was Isaac?
Well, not immediately.
Yeah.
Because I just saw him and I was like, oh, he's a sergeant.
Yeah, this black guy.
Yeah, but then like as soon as they like pulled over and he was like, I'm gonna go talk to them instead of like everyone coming with me. I was like, holy shit, that's Isaac, bro. I was like, that's Isaac.
That's crazy. It was cool that they let him reprise his role, but it's because he's such a goated actor that they needed to.
Yeah, well, that and like, I don't understand why they wouldn't, you know, because he doesn't look much different from when he did in the game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I get why they couldn't get the voice actress for Ellie because she was getting too old.
Yeah.
And, you know, the voice actor for Joel just straight up doesn't really look like Joel.
Yeah. That part is crazy.
Yeah. But for Isaac, they straight up used his motion capture. They used his image. They used his voice.
Yeah.
So all about it. Like, I think he is really good as Isaac too.
Yeah. Well, the scene he has in the squat car thing, you see, was pretty good. The way he just kind of turns and starts talking about why they call them voters.
Yeah, because they took away their rights.
Yeah.
And started calling them voters to mock them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Fedra's fucked.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, basically we get to this. What'd you say? It was a weather station.
Oh, it was a news station. News station. Yeah.
And Ellie and Dina walk in, and they start seeing peoples with arrows in them. And they get a little bit further, and there's a bunch of people hanging with their intestines out, which was pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
Yeah.
Which then, Dina, little pussy, throws up again. Golly.
Crazy.
No, but even then, before that, there was the music shop scene.
Yeah.
Where Ellie finds a guitar was that survived the apocalypse because of those little packets that keep your food fresh.
Yeah.
She kisses them. I'm like, no, Ellie, those are toxic.
Don't eat those.
Don't eat those. And but she starts playing her guitar, which this was also like 1-for-1 with the game.
Oh, is it?
Which, yeah, because she sits down in the music shop and she starts singing, and she's saying "Take on Me." I'm pretty sure that's what was sung in the game as well. And Dina just watches and starts crying.
Yeah.
And Ellie sees that she's crying, and she's like, "Damn, I'm moving this bitch."
Yeah.
She just kept going. And then they get ready to go, and they set the guitar down, and they pull out, and that shot literally is the opening screen. That's the lobby screen for the game. And so I thought that was really cool. I'm glad they added that in, because that was just really pretty.
Yeah.
But then after that, they go into that news station, and then they find the hanging the hanging wolf members, and they hear one with a radio, one that's dead, and they pick up the radio and they listen, and they make the connection that they probably just called for backup.
Yeah.
And so they got to skedaddle real quick, or else, they're in danger.
Which I'm surprised they wanted to skedaddle because it's like they want to kill them. So.
Well, but that's the other thing, is that they don't necessarily want to kill all the wolves, and they also are severely undermanned and underarmed.
Yeah.
To fight this group of people. In the game, you coulda if you wanted to. I did, but in a show, there's something about having it be in a show format that makes it to where it's like, oh yeah, they're stakes. You can't just afford to get shot 3 times and then go and bandage yourself up.
Yeah.
And then go back and fight.
Which I could see that for sure.
Yeah, and so it was the smart move for them to try and get out, and they still end up taking 2 of the soldiers out and then running away.
Well, no, because then it has the 1-for-1 with when they come in. And Dina and Ellie are behind the boxes. And I recognized this immediately.
Yeah.
I felt like I was tripping because I was like, oh my God, this is exactly the same thing as the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I always think it's so funny when I hear the wolves talking, and we don't get to see them talk, because that very much reminds me of the game, because you just hear them giving out those lines. Where are they? Fan the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then they just go and look for the Ellie and Dina.
Well, his exact words, I don't give a fuck if it's a man, woman, or child.
I don't even give a fuck if it's a baby.
Yeah.
Kill them.
Kill that thing.
Yeah.
But
which, that also does a good job setting up the fact that they can't just be like, we're not Seraphites.
yeah. But then Ellie sneaks away to go upstairs, find an exit, and she grapples with her first human person. And the way she did it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. I mean, she tackles him and he drops his fucking gun.
Yeah. And the other one comes in, and she's the way she grabs him and then kind of gets low.
Yeah.
As a human shield was neat.
Which was also really close to how it is in the game,
Yeah.
They use in the game human shields all the time. But then she is kind of actively trying to choke this guy out when the other soldier comes in, and then Ellie or Dina shoots him from behind.
Yeah.
And killing him, and then Ellie has some quick thinking. She's like, shoot this fucking window.
Yeah.
Which, that's pretty smart.
Another 2 ARs that they just didn't grab.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. More more heavy machinery that they could have used.
Well, it could have helped for sure.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Dina, pick up this AR real quick.
Yeah.
I can shoot the gun or shoot
the window.
Window.
But now drop it. We don't need it.
Yeah, but now drop it.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
And they kind of run outside and they're getting chased. And there's nothing wrong with how they escaped, I would say.
No, I didn't have anything.
It's definitely intense.
Yeah.
To the, like, when they're running up to the fence and it's locked, and then they go to the building and it's collapsed, and
Yeah.
they see a little hole that leads into the tunnel.
Yeah, which, oh my gosh, dude. I don't know if I'd ever be able to do that. I mean, in a high tense situation, like, I guess I would if I had to crawl through that tiny little space, but claustrophobia galore.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would think that it's going to, like, collapse every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I could see that. What they did inside the tunnels, though, was neat.
Yeah.
How the red flares go off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That in that scene in the game, there were spores, so it kind of lights up the area a lot nicer because it reflects off of like the dust particles stuff. But in the show they haven't shown spores, so there's no spores in this. However, one of the flares that gets thrown, because they're trying to light up the area to find Ellie and Dina, one of the flares that gets thrown and goes underneath the train in this subway station, and you can see this whatever they're called, the cordyceps, the fungus that's like alive underneath, and so as the soldiers are searching, you start off hearing like one, and then Dina sits there and she closes her eyes immediately and she holds her hand up. She does this. She does the one symbol, and then as she hears more, she starts counting, and then she gets to 5, and then I forget. I don't think she knows how to count past that, and so she kind of stopped.
No, she counts again. She counts to 10.
Oh, did she do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you just see just like a horde come crashing through to attack the wolves and stuff, which that shit is terrifying.
Yeah, you could see it in Dina's face. She's like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And I don't know, always seeing the horde always gets me going.
Yeah,
because it's just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about like just like a group of humans that are so ruthless and like that literally will go and like charge through anything to kill whatever they're trying to kill, like animals. That shit's terrifying.
Yeah, like a gorilla.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
100 versus 1 man.
100 men versus 1 gorilla.
They see the horde come in. They have to act fast, so there's like a broken down train car. They jump in, and I like how they did the train car a lot because that felt very, very, very like fucked.
Yeah,
it was a dire situation.
This whole scene is something that I wanted throughout the whole show because that whole scene kind of encompasses how the game feels. Yeah, you're just like always on the cusp of death, and you're like, you got to run. If you don't make the right move, you will die. Oh yeah. And so, but it's like seeing them actually do it was really fun. Yeah, it felt like an actual zombie movie for a minute. Yeah, because like they're crashing into the train car, hitting everything, breaking in, and it just was very nostalgic. Yeah, but terrifying because like they get further down into the train car, and then suddenly it's just the windows. Yep, and it's like, holy shit. Oh, dude. So there's that section of the train car that's like all like leather. Yeah, the lining. Yeah. Hearing the sound of it ripping, like the fingernails against it, that was like the most terrifying thing. Yeah. Because it sounds like it's like being actually like ripped apart. And so I was like, holy shit. It's also like, do you climb through it? Yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah. There's nowhere else to go. And you got to keep going. Yeah. But so they do. They climb through it. And they get through. And that's when the glass, when it's all glass and you can hear it all shattering, and they start breaking through. Dina starts taking pot shots at him, and then Ellie gets up and starts doing it, and then Dina goes and tries to find a way out, and she finds the emergency exit.
Yeah.
And she jumps up, unlocks it, while Ellie's kind of taking shots at him to kind of hold him back. And this part is where I started like clenching my seat, because Ellie goes and helps Dina up, and then the cordyceps start really getting in, and you can see the absolute fear on Ellie's face.
Oh yeah.
I also kind of laughed a little bit because I was like, so dead ass. That's how I would be right now, because she's like, like, holy fuck.
Well, she was being a badass shooting all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I mean, still though, you can see her like so terrified. It's like, it's one of those situations where you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And she jumps up, narrowly escapes, and then they jump down and then run away. And they go up these stairs, right? And then they get these turnstiles, these big old metal turnstiles.
Well,
and
they jump off the train.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then, like, this is the part where it feels useless, because they jump off the train, and immediately one of them looks at them. What the fuck you doing? And then all of them start chasing them again.
Yeah. That's the worst part about The Last of Us zombies, is that they are a hive mind.
Yeah.
So one finds you, they all find you. And it's not like they start breaking off towards you. It's they all turn and look at you. And so it's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, that would feel hopeless. That's what I'm saying, bro. If I'm getting chased by a horde in The Last of Us, I'm probably just going to let it happen. I don't think I'd have the will to like keep running.
To live?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely run, but then there's a point where you're like, you know, I'm not going to be like Abby and fucking hop, jump, step over a 10-foot wall.
Right.
Anyway, they hop a fence and then they run into, what were they? The turnstiles?
Yeah, I think that's what they're called, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like a metal turn thing that you see at subways, so I'm assuming that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And this part probably bugged you a little bit, I'm sure.
No, there's nothing wrong with this part.
When Abby and Ellie squeeze through?
Ellie and Dina?
Yeah. Dina, same thing.
No.
Yeah.
When they squeeze through, I didn't mind that. It was different from the game. It's not how it necessarily happened, but...
Yeah, the one zombie comes up and Ellie defends Dina and gets bit.
Yeah. The only thing that bothered me was that, like, Ellie's arm was in that zombie's mouth for so long. And, like, yet it only got one bite in.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that always confuses me in, like, zombie movies and TV shows, is that, like, they always end up with, like, a really clean bite. But, like, these things are trying to eat you, so why wouldn't that have torn, like, the whole chunk of skin off of you?
Yeah.
And, like, so that's what I'm like, you're telling me that she had her arm just in the zombie's mouth, and it didn't go, like, that's all it had to do. It was just like,
I'm going to slightly gnaw on you.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of chew on you a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm going to nibble.
It's a kink bite.
Yeah. The only thing, and this is me fucking making excuses for it, is that the only thing I can think of is that the zombie started biting and then got a taste and was like, oh, this is one of mine, because Ellie has the cordyceps in her brain already.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing I could say, but like I don't think that's even really true.
No.
So I think it was just I think that's silly. They do it in every single like zombie game or movie or whatever.
Yeah, The Walking Dead does it pretty good.
The Walking Dead does pretty good, because they will fucking rip a chunk off of you.
Yeah. But then it becomes a whole different thing. It's like your flesh is basically nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is something that it's like it makes humans feel really weak.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
When you get peeled like a banana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you'll sit there and you're like, no.
It didn't bother me how they did it. It only bothered me after this part.
Yeah.
I did like it at first because they get up out of the subway station and immediately Dina's already like tweaking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too.
Yeah. But the way like they close in on her gun and she starts gripping it more.
Yeah.
And then they get into the hotel.
No, it's a movie theater.
Is it a movie theater?
Yeah.
And then they get to the movie theater, and Ellie's like, "Nah, just fine. Like, I'm not even like thinking about this really."
Yeah.
And she's like, "We need to bury up the walls and make sure everything's okay."
Mm-hmm.
And then fucking Dina is just immediately pointing her gun at Ellie.
Yeah.
And Ellie, I don't know if she's just this socially awkward,
Right.
but this part really just fucked with me so hard. Because instead of being like, "Yo, I'm immune immediately," like, "Dina, trust me. Like,
Yeah.
remember all those times I told you I was immune and you didn't believe me?" Like,
I don't know if that happens in the show.
it does not happen in the show.
It happens in the game, though.
But it would make sense if fucking she said something about it.
Yeah. Right.
Because there's no way she keeps us a secret.
She does mention, she does say, like, "Oh, I'm immune. I've been bitten before," right?
Yeah,
but
but
like
after she was like, "Yo, Dina, like, what's good? Like, stop."
what's up? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. Yeah, it takes her a while.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she literally sits there, hands down, for a while, and she's like, "Why are you pointing a gun at me? What's going on? Why are you doing that?"
"Yeah, this doesn't make any sense, Dina."
And then she looks down at her arm. She's like, "Oh, right." And then she puts her hands up, and she's like, "Don't shoot."
Yeah.
Like, as if that gun wasn't there the whole time,
Yeah.
and now that you remembered that, and it's like, "Oh, now I'm in danger."
Oh, you're actually gonna shoot me? I thought you were
Yeah.
just playing.
Yeah, I thought you were
Yeah,
playing,
yeah.
Dina. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but then Ellie has probably the. Just doesn't make any sense to me.
It's the silliest idea. It's such a silly
Yeah.
idea.
Where she turns to Dina and she's like, "All right, look, so I'm gonna go over there and take a nap, and you're gonna watch me. And if I don't turn, don't shoot me. But if I do, shoot me."
Yeah.
And it's like, why is that the first thing you're like? I'm gonna go sleep.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm
Yeah.
tired. That was tough. My thing is that for Dina, right, hearing that would be horrible because it's like, yeah, you like this person, but it's like they're actively like, "Don't kill me," which is something that I'm pretty sure a lot of people say after they get bit, right? "No, I swear it's different this time." And
Yeah.
so it's like, and then they turn, and then, you know, just like having the option of putting you out of your misery now, or waiting until you turn into one of those monsters is like, "Oh, I would put you out of your misery. Like, I don't want to have to risk that, but now you're asking me to risk that. Not only risk my life, but risk like having you go through this horrible experience."
Yeah.
And so it's like, for me, I'm like, why did Dina not oppose this at all? She's like, "Okay, go lay down, go take a nap."
It's because Ellie didn't give her a choice,
That's kind of true.
which I'm surprised she didn't kill Ellie in her sleep.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I get it, because it's like, it's someone you love. You don't want to you don't want to kill them.
It'd make more sense if Ellie like disarms her
Yeah.
and de-escalates the situation.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of expecting, honestly.
I was not expecting, "I'm gonna go take a nap.
Yeah.
Just watch me for a little bit."
Yeah.
But I guess like the bites, usually you turn pretty fast, I would assume.
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a deal. But the next following part is also just as insane.
Yeah. It just kind of goes nuts, because Ellie wakes up from her nap, water drips on her face, and so she, classically goes, like, while
All
Dina's sitting there.
gremlin like.
Yeah, while Dina's sitting there like, "Oh my gosh, she's turning."
Yeah.
And then like turns the light on. Then Ellie remembers the situation that she's in. She's like, "Wait, hold on. It was just raindrops." And then she's like, "See, look, I'm totally fine. Look, it's not spreading. It's not nothing." And then Dina walks over like, oh my God, so slow. Like, she literally turns her flashlight off, puts on a lantern, then gets up, and then slowly walks over. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, pick it up. But Dina gets over there, and it's like, "Ellie, I'm pregnant." And,
Yeah.
and they immediately just start making out. And then they, have a little canoodling session. And there's no, throughout the whole thing, there's no, "You're pregnant? What the fuck do you mean you're pregnant? How are you pregnant? What the fuck?" It's just, and then they go to
Yeah.
bed, and then they wake up, and Ellie's like, "I'm gonna be a dad."
Yeah. That is basically what happens.
Which I thought that was funny, but like, you know, it's very interesting because in the game, Ellie's a lot more pissed that Dina is pregnant, but that's also like they have been in a relationship in the game at this point for a while.
Yeah.
So like Ellie is a lot more pissed about it, understandably, and Dina also in the game knew she was pregnant from like Jackson. Like she found out in Jackson, and so it makes sense as to why Ellie's not as mad, because in the game it's like, why the fuck didn't you tell me before? I would not have let you come. And it's like, in the show it makes more sense because Dina finds out there in Seattle,
which either way it works. My immediate thought was the pacing's weird here, but I just think it's because it goes from scary, like, oh my god, my friend's gonna shoot me, to I'm pregnant, to lesbian sex. So
yeah,
for me that was a really big shift in everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But when Ellie was like, I'm a dad, I was like, oh, that's funny. The way they play it, they're like, we're all having a baby.
Yeah, me, you, and Jesse. It was Jesse, right?
Yeah.
Then Dina's like, damn, what do you take me for?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Damn. And then she goes on, she's like, I love Jesse, but he's not the one.
Yep.
But, you know, I'm okay with it. You know, it was all right for... What?
It was all right.
It was all right.
They could have done better.
Yeah,
They could have better sex.
Well, it's really odd seeing Bella Ramsey do this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know her from, like, Game of Thrones and when she was, like, a child actor. So it's, like, seeing her immediately get down into some girl's pants, you're like, whoa, how old are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Last season you were 13, bro.
Yeah, and it's what, 5 years in the future?
7.
7 years?
There's 7 on the
okay.
show, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
that's fair.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I forget exactly what happens next, but they overhear the radio.
Yeah.
And they hear one of the people that they need to go kill.
Yeah, Nora.
Yeah.
And it's really convenient because you hear Nora, location of Nora.
Yeah, location.
That's all you hear.
Location of Nora, Lake Hill, 7th Street, something, Seattle, and then you're like, oh,
and you're like, wow, that's really convenient. That's crazy.
Yeah,
did this radio not go off all night?
Yeah,
you're telling me after they escaped, there was no communication to home base about these two people?
It yells a little further. It's like, shh, Nora, you know exactly where Abby's location is, right?
Yeah. All right, don't say it on the radio.
Yeah, don't say it on the radio.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But then they run up. So this part, I was really hoping they were gonna do something with, because in the game, in the movie theater, when you're exploring around, you go up to this roof, and you go to the electrical box to turn on the power, and you see that the person who was living in the movie theater before went up to do the same thing and fried themselves.
Oh.
And so you just see their burnt, crisp body right there on the floor.
Jesus.
And so I was kind of hoping that they were going to go up there, because they run up to the top floor to figure out, like, get their bearings so they know where they are. So that way they can go to the, what was it called? Lake
Hill.
Lake Hill.
Yeah.
So they can go find Lake Hill and find Nora. But they run upstairs and they hold hands. They do that, whatever. And I was hoping they were going to turn around and just see the dead body and be like, damn.
Jesus.
But no, they have this little scene on the top where Ellie's like, are you sure? Like, you should stay back.
Yeah.
I would feel better if you stayed back. And Dina's like, together. And grabs her hand and all that.
Yeah, which this part kind of did bother me. Especially if you're Ellie, wouldn't you immediately be like, I don't need revenge that bad.
Right.
Let's go home.
Right. Like, that would be such a turning point. I'd be like, oh, okay, we can start a life.
Yeah.
But
it's not worth risking you dying
Right.
Yeah, my potential future.
Well, and even then, in the game, Dina stays behind. Dina stays in the movie theater.
Yeah. How fucking tilted are you going to get to kill her the next episode?
If they kill Dina,
Yeah.
I'm going to be so mad. I'm actually probably going to be so mad. Yeah. I don't know what I would do if they killed Dina.
Well, I think she has to stay for reasons, but I don't think they're going to kill her.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it'd be too far off to see her get tortured by the Seraphites or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably coming.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is that it's probably going to be a situation of like Dina's like genuinely so impaired by her ailment that she can't go, and like she would actually be a liability if she went.
She already is. She's throwing up on everything.
I know.
Yeah.
But then they leave Dina behind. Like they, as in Ellie.
Yeah.
And then it would be a solo Ellie moment for a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically my concluding thoughts. What would you rate the episode?
I would rate the episode. I'd probably have to give it an 8 Ellie bites.
8 Ellie bites?
8 Ellie bites out of 10. Because there were those weird moments that kind of dropped it, where like with the whole "I'm pregnant, let's make love" type of situation.
Pregnant, let's have gay sex.
Yeah, and that really threw me off because like the pacing was super weird.
Yeah.
But overall, like I'm so happy that Ellie and Dina finally got to have their moment.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that that tunnel scene was phenomenal.
That was pretty good.
What about you, man?
I'd definitely give it an 8 out of 10. I liked Jeffrey Wright almost immediately. I think his character's dope.
Yeah.
Josh was always cool to see.
Uh-huh.
Those were the highlights of my episode. I think the only thing was pacing. It was an action-packed episode, so them to dip immediately into like sleep, gay sex, I'm pregnant was interesting. But I did like how they did it, and the 1-to-1 stuff for the game really bumped up the score, so I definitely an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. All right, on.
Well, that wraps it up. See you later, guys.
See you.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.